Morning, Fractal Effects team. We're just in the middle of the morning trades, so if you're following along with us, make sure you read the disclosure in the footer section of fractaleffects.com. If you're also joining us, make sure you're in a demo account, as this is for educational purposes only. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. So a couple of things have happened. Right now, US 500 is telling us a lot more, so we're going to concentrate on that. We have what's called a triangle pattern coming in from London, which is a double break to the upside and a break to the downside. And we had a blue zone that was created in real time. So the market bounced off of that. It did not, this is the first 5M fair value gap that it created, unfortunately. And it is using the NYC fair value gap as an inverse. So it'll most likely tap this. It wants to take these highs, but we have not broken the manipulation range for New York. This is still the London session following in. So this is how you can use these different sessions to tell you what's going to happen here. Even we haven't broken the range, I know that it wants to take these highs for US 500 at least. It has to tap in here. This is the first foothold. If it doesn't and it just takes off without us, that's fine too. But we called the shots. We knew that it was going to drop from NAS all the way down to the blue zone. How did we know that? Because we only had a single double break. We only had a single break to the upside on London, but we had a sell model. So that was the first presented fair value gap. We tapped it. We took that trade all the way to the blue zone. That's it, delivered, done. So it's met London's obligation. Here, the last thing that's left to meet London's obligation is taking US 500's high. As soon as it does that, it'll give us a manipulation move to the upside, and then we'll see if it wants to drop for the New York session. But the New York session has not broken the manipulation zone yet. But all the confluence lets me know that this most likely wants to run US 500 highs. So I'll get rid of that. We have equal relative highs right here. And we've already violated the inverse NYC fair value gap. That's how you read this. Again, this is a market translator. This is not a time lagging indicator. This is not one of these garbage strategies that most people are teaching. This is translating to you in real time what the markets are saying. There's an algorithm that runs the markets. This is translating that algorithm. That's how we were able to call this shot. Each one of these sessions works off of each other. London obligation had not been met until it hit this fair value gap and dropped to the blue zone. Done. London obligation met. Now NAS, I'm not interested in NAS until it breaks the New York range. US 500 has not met its obligation yet. It's going to sweep this high. It wants to. We have a triangle pattern, new blue zone, rejected off of it, first presented fair value gap, tapped. I don't know if it's been tapped. I haven't zoomed in. Sorry, we went live right around the same time. It hasn't really been tapped yet, so it could still cut into this. But it wants to take these highs, these equal relative highs, in order to fulfill the London obligation. Once the London obligation has been met, what's next? Right there. That's the New York manipulation range. So once it takes that high, it can then technically drop because that could be the manipulation move. So we're still waiting for that. Now there are some people that only trade the New York session. Remember, if you're only trading the New York session, you have not enough confluence yet to take any trades. If you're following the London session, these are the two moves from London. They just happen to bleed into the early morning, obviously because we had CPI day today. Today was CPI news at 8:30 Eastern Standard. So as soon as this range is broken, then we can start actually putting together confluence for the New York session. But right now there is nothing. We have not broken the manipulation range for the New York session as of yet. So here comes US 500 back into the inverse NYC fair value gap, and to tap this fair value gap, that's the first presented fair value gap that's been created after we've done the rejection. See if there even is a 1 to 3 here. I don't think so. Remember, just because I know where the market's going doesn't mean that it gives me enough space to get in. That's like if you're trying to park and there's an empty parking spot. If your car doesn't fit, you're not going to cram it in there. 2.78. Hasn't hit this yet, though. I want to see how deeply it cuts. Now remember, that's London's trade still. If you only trade New York session, there's not enough confluence yet. But that's the last obligation London has for US 500 is to sweep these highs. If it sweeps these highs, we meet the obligation for the double break, and now we can start looking for a New York trade setup using New York confluence, which there is none yet, by the way. All we know is it's a sell model, and we have a trumpet model. Trumpet models like to sweep both sides, and today is Tuesday. In a bullish market, Tuesdays, there's a 70% chance that Tuesday will set the low. And there's a big, juicy daily fair value gap all the way down here on NAS that it could drop into. But again, no confluence for New York yet. Still London. Last London obligation is to take this high. This one we called in the morning, dropped all the way to the blue zone, easy peasy. Now here's a secret we usually say for the masterclass, but I'm going to give it to you guys for free. The blue zone, as mentioned before, is a magnetic zone that the market is drawn to and pushes from. If it violates it, then the market wants to push down further. So it's drawn to it, but if it violates, if it cuts right through it, then it wants to keep going. That's what happened here. We cut right through the blue zone, and then it rode all the way down to the next blue zone, the dark blue zone. The darker the zone, the more the market wants to pull to it. We're getting rejection off that first 5M fair value gap. I want to see if it cuts in deeper or if it's going to give me that immediate rebalancing candle to take out these highs. That's what I'm interested in now, taking these highs for US 500. And in doing so, we will be breaking the manipulation range for New York. That's the manipulation move. So that could set us up for a sell, which will then match us up with NAS, which is most likely looking to sell off. But we'll see. NAS has told us absolutely nothing yet for the New York session. That's how big this range was. Remember the CPI news that dropped? Bang. That's where you get these big candles, displacement candles. But there's the rejection for US 500. I want to see if I get that next immediate rebalancing candle. Let's drop down to the 1M. Not really a lot of space there to go all the way into the highs. But we're still going to walk you through it just to show you guys exactly how this thing translates the market. So far we had that one play, took the sell from here all the way into the blue zone, done. We were looking for, I was hoping to get a 5M fair value gap down here in the blue zone. We didn't get it, got it all the way up here, not really a lot of space between here and here for a 1 to 3. Remember, if there is no 1 to 3, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say this again. It's like finding a parking spot. Just because you know it's there doesn't mean your car is going to be able to necessarily fit. So if there's no 1 to 3 risk to reward, I'm not taking it. Capital preservation, that's our first priority. Still looking for that 1M bullish fair value gap to be created. And then I want to see it sweep these highs, and it officially fulfills any London obligation. Looks like we're getting something here. Is that our 1M fair value gap? Okay, so I filled that in. Still waiting. Did reject. Could be creating it on this next one. And again, more and more it gesticulates, the less and less space we have between entry and take profit. I want you to be able to eye this and just know. Just eyeball this and be able to tell that there is not enough space, that that is not a 1 to 3. We're green across the board right now. New York could fall in suit right now. It could take out these highs as well and give us a double break to the upside for the London session. But primarily after 10 o'clock, I don't really care about any new breaks associated with the previous session. Just like I don't care about any Asia breaks after London session starts. I'll take it into consideration down here, but not once the London session starts. So 10 o'clock, I don't care about any new breaks from London session. US 500 still just gesticulating. Still looking for that 1M fair value gap to be created. Tapped. And then US 500 should take out these highs, fulfilling its obligation to the London session. London session is done, and it should give us a manipulation move for the New York session, which we will then start to integrate into our plan. Is it going to be a clean MM, forcing the market to push down, or is it going to be a double break, falling in suit with the London session and being a continuation? Remember, the 10 o'clock candle on the 4-hour should be a continuation candle. you don't want to really trade it if it's a reversal candle. We'll show you what that looks like in a minute. We'll go up to the 4-hour. So if your 4-hour, the previous candle, the 6 o'clock candle is bullish, ideally you want this, the 10 o'clock candle, the 4-hour candle, to continue. You don't want to have a New York reversal. You want to have a New York continuation. That's what you want to plan for. Right now we're wedged in between a lot of 4-hour fair value gaps. There's your all-time high. We already took it. Took it during London session from previous day. So this is the new all-time high that was set as of today for NAS. This is close to what we're looking for. Still looking for that 1M fair value gap to be created. It doesn't want to create it. It wants to take its time. A lot of things happening today. Again, CPI news, which dropped at 8:30. Today is Tuesday. Tuesday likes to set the lows. 70% chance that it can set the lows. We do have a trumpet model. Trumpet models like to sweep both sides. A lot of things happening that show you confluence for both sides. Not the most optimal trading conditions. 20 minutes till 11. I would like to see this range break. Now, remember, if our range is not broken by 11:30, we're done. If the blue zone range is not broken by 11:30, then you don't trade. Too much manipulation happening. Even this does not want to give us our fair value gap. Let's go up to the 5M. You'll see most likely a pattern, a power of 3 pattern setting up. Consolidation, manipulation. So this could consolidate. One candle could drop all the way to the midpoint here, which is the manipulation, and then give us our distribution to take out those highs. But that's what I'm interested in right now. I want to take US 500 highs. All obligations are met for Asia, for London. Then we can concentrate on what New York wants to offer us. Looks like that's the move. Maybe we're not going to do a power of 3. Maybe it just wants to push from here. Let's see. They're engineering a lot of liquidity here. There are people going long and people going short. So it's beneficial for them to hold this up right here. They couldn't have picked a better spot to hold it. People see that NAS dropped. They see that NAS is sitting inside the inverse New York fair value gap. They want to go short. People like me, I know that it wants to take US 500 highs. People are going long. Now keep in mind, even with our strategy here, that's as far as I know. Because once we cross that line, we've taken US 500 highs, we've met London obligation, but we are now setting up for a New York obligation. Because once we cross that line, what are we really saying? What's the market translator translating to us? It's letting us know that that's the manipulation move. It doesn't want to go in that direction. It's manipulating in that direction. So although it will cross that line and meet London obligation, we're done there. New York is now telling us that just because we cross that line doesn't mean that the market wants to go up. It could set up for a short from there with a clean M. The only thing that's going to make me think this market's going up is if we get a double break. Double break, retracement back to one of our key zones, blue zone, 5-minute fair value gap, entry. See how that works? Still looking for, like, again, there's no space here. I know that it wants to cross this line, but it's not going to give me any space. It's not going to give me a gosh darn foothold, which sucks, but it is what it is. Still no 1M fair value gap created here. Oh, 15 minutes till 11. I'd like to see it cross that line and get this broken by that time. We have no DR confirmation yet. Big ranges today. Going back to the 20, still no 1M fair value gap created. It's respecting this fair value gap right now. Drop it right there. Just a waiting game. So there's the top of our dealing range for the spotlight strategy, and there's the manipulation high for the blue zone strategy. Technically crossing both of these could give us a bullish confirmation. Or we could just wick up here and again meet the London obligation, but at the same time it could drop after that. Looks like this could be the push up. Just waiting patiently. So that's the first 1M fair value gap that's created. And again, there's not really any room there for me. There's no 1 to 3 from here to here. My stop loss would have to be down here. I'm not really interested. Just because I know where the market's going doesn't mean that I'm interested. You know how scary accurate this market translator is? Sometimes there are days where I feel like Nostradamus. But again, that doesn't mean that I can actually take any of these trades. It has to give us a foothold. It has to make sense. 1 to 3, risk to reward. There's your 1M fair value gap. Now tell me, is there room from here to here? We just got confirmation on the US 30. We'll take a look and see what that is. Most likely a bullish confirmation, I'm assuming. So anyways, that's headed to those highs to meet London obligation. I'm just going to check US 30. I think it's a bullish confirmation. Yeah. Bullish confirmation from US 30. More confluence. This one already broke, so we have a break and a double break and a bullish confirmation. So US 30 wants to push up. Most likely it'll retrace back down to the 20 EMA. Maybe even the NWOG. I don't see it really retracing further than that. I want to stick with the US 500 just to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. So, and sometimes it is painful to watch. It is painful to watch it cross the zones you know it's going to cross. But again, without the foothold, it doesn't make any sense. And that's how you have to condition your brain to be okay with that. Because there's days where that kind of mindset is going to save you. There's no 1 to 3 here. But I'll tell you right now, it's going to cross that line. It's going to give us that manipulation move. But just because I know doesn't mean that I can take it. Do you understand? Be patient with that. This is how you prevent greed too, by the way. I told you there are days where this setup is so clean that I feel like Nostradamus, but it doesn't mean that I want to lean into it. It's going to condition my brain to take risks. Right now we take calculated risks, but it's going to condition my brain to just take risks. And where does that leave me? There you go. London obligation met. Never gave us a proper foothold entry though. And there's your first break. So now we have somewhat confluence. 2 minutes, 22 seconds left for this candle to close. I want to see if we get a bullish confirmation and this falls in suit with US 30, which then will pull NAS up. It'll pull NAS to take out these equal relative highs. But that's how you use the market translators. How many moves did we just call? We called a sell from here to here, called a buy from here to here, a bullish market. We didn't actually take this. There wasn't enough room, but still. Triangle pattern, pull back into a blue zone, first presented fair value gap, tapped to take out highs. It's 2 moves I just called right now in front of you using the market translator. I'm not special. It's not something I did. This is years and years of R&D. 3 quantitative analysts, a chaotician. This is reading the markets right now for you. It is reading and translating the algorithm that controls the market. Simple as that. 2 moves called real time. And please forgive all of these other extra boxes that are marked on here. This is just for my own visual sense so I know exactly where things are, like the higher time frame fair value gaps. So I'll put those back in. That's a 4-hour fair value gap. Here's a daily, etc. But once you start understanding these colors and how the strategy works, it's going to be a no-brainer. You don't even like it's like the Matrix. I don't even see numbers anymore. I don't see colors. I just see buy or sell. I see entry. I see exit. That's what I see. 12 seconds left. Let's see if this bullish confirmation sticks. It's right on the cusp, so could get it on the next candle. 3, 2, 1. Doesn't look like it's going to stick. So we don't have a bullish confirmation yet. Could get it on this next one, but we do have a break. What's a break mean? It means that the market could technically drop from here. So unless we get a bullish confirmation from the spotlight strategy, right now everything is telling me that this thing wants to drop. We wicked the highs here. NAS stuck right there, unable to get past the NYC fair value gap inverse, but it is using it. It is on the other side of it. Now there are some traders, and this boggles my mind. There are traders that would have taken that trade from here all the way to here. They would have jacked up their lot size, which would have increased, severely increased their risk to reward. They would have been over leveraged with a possible chance of blowing out their account. But there are people that do that. There are people that literally go for, what is that even? Not even 30 pips. I want to start familiarizing myself with futures terminology. I don't trade futures contracts. This is CFD. It's the same strategy, by the way. It works across everything. Forex, indices, commodities, precious metals. I'll show you right after this. I'll show you what it looked like on gold, for example. We'll finish this first. So what happens once we get a break of the manipulation range? We want to wait for one of two things to happen. Either a bearish fair value gap to be created and tapped, or a double break to happen, which will then also give us a bullish confirmation, I'm sure, which means that this market wants to continue going up. In which case we wait for a retracement back to our first key zone, which will be most likely the NYC fair value gap. Could be the blue zone, but we'll see. And then it'll set us up for a bullish 5M fair value gap. But one step at a time. Three minutes to 11. I usually don't like seeing these late breaks. NAS is not broken yet. Here's another thing I want to tell you guys. When we're using divergence, you have to have enough aggregate to actually use that information. Right now, NAS has not even broken the manipulation range. So we don't have a break in either direction. So it's not telling me anything right now. It's close. It could take out these highs and give us a bullish confirmation and a break, which is at least giving me some information. But right now, NAS is not telling me enough information. And US 500 just took out its highs, met London obligation, and now we'll see what it wants to do for New York. Does it want to continue up? Because this next candle, if we cross this line, we'll get a double break, which means that the market wants to continue up. It'll most likely give us a bullish confirmation as well. And then We already know that we're green across the board right now on the higher time frames. 40 seconds left. Let's see if this bullish confirmation sticks. It's playing with us right now. It's just gesticulating back and forth. Still just waiting and watching. So no bullish confirmation on that last candle. Again, it's funny how it just keeps playing right around there. We'll have to wait to see if this next candle gives a bullish confirmation or a double break. Now, a bullish confirmation and a double break go great together just because both imply a retracement and both increase the chances of a retracement. Remember, with the spotlight strategy, as soon as we get a confirmation, there's an 85% chance that we'll get a retracement back into our dealing range. With the blue zone, as soon as we get a double break, there's a 75% chance that we'll get a retracement to one of our key zones, either a blue zone or whichever PD array is in between the blue zone, which is right now the NYC fair value gap. It's an inverse, but it still counts. So let's do a 20 EMA right here. Now keep in mind, just for the spotlight strategy, looks like we're about to get a double break. Let's see. But yeah, just for the spotlight strategy, the crossover happened here, so there's our double break. Now, I cannot sell this market. What I'm looking for, though, is a good entry point. I want the market to retrace back to... So we did hit the 20 EMA. This is where the crossover was. We hit the 20 EMA already. So the market might not retrace further than this. But we'll wait and watch. I still want to see it come down and tap the 20 EMA and hopefully the NYC inverse fair value gap. Now, this is more confluence that NAS wants to push up, but again, we can't trade that. NAS is most likely going to take out these equal relative highs, though, which means nothing. Think about which pair you want to trade right now, as it stands right now. We have a double break, a bullish confirmation, green across the board. US 500 is the pair you want to trade right now. All we still have that's still trailing for NAS is our London confirmation, our London break, which only lets us know that the market wants to go down. We left these equal relative highs, sure. This is the safe bet. That's how divergence works. This is the stronger pair. This is the one I want to trade when I'm going up. This thing is messy. NAS is very messy. Just going to go up to the 4-hour here on US 500. Since it's not a pair I traditionally trade. Are we at all-time highs? I don't even know. Oh, there's the all-time highs. I assume. Let me go to the daily. Yeah, there's your all-time highs. I know I have more marked out. So this was I have two US 500 charts, each one for a different broker. So this one should give me more information. I think I marked out one of these at least. There you go. So there's your daily standard deviation. And we show you guys how to figure this out. That's where the US 500 is drawn to, the midpoint of this, consequence encroachment of this on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour, we're sitting inside of a 4-hour fair value gap. But that's a continuation candle right now, especially. So really not a lot of room with US 500 right now. That's why I want to get it from down here. If I can get it from down here, I'll ride it right into this. I'll ride the market right into all-time highs. About 25 minutes left in our stream. Let's see if we get that retracement. That's the last thing I'm interested in. We've already called 2 shots. Let's call a third. Let's show you how accurate this bad boy really is. This is not one of these half-ass strategies that don't work. If you're still, it's 2025, and if you're still using harmonics patterns and support and resistance, or whatever the hell it is, even ICT. Let's go over ICT for a minute. Now, ICT was one of the creators of, I shouldn't say creators. He was one of the people that taught the best master class on what's happening here. Some of those concepts he coined, and some of those, obviously, he just renamed. Doesn't mean that he didn't see it, but even with ICT, what he's doing is somewhat similar to what the algorithm is doing. That's why he's accurate a lot more of the time than most traders are. But there's also a reason why ICT lost and didn't even place in the Robbins Cup. He claims that it was his master plan. I don't see it that way. It's because he's still looking at it from an old perspective. We just cut right through it. We translated it for you. We created something that's literally just telling you what the market's doing, and then it's up to you to figure out, hey, well, if the market's taking liquidity and filling in inefficiencies, and this thing is telling me that it wants to go up, where's the next inefficiency? Where's the next liquidity zone? That's it. Simple as that. Finally, NAS, close to giving us a bullish confirmation. Most likely it'll take these highs, but again, just because I know where it's going doesn't mean I'm interested. I do not trade New York session until I have a manipulation zone. Or sorry, until I have a manipulation move, like US 500 here. Still waiting for that retracement. Now, this does get tough when you're at all-time highs on any market. Obviously, you need aggregate, you need data to translate. At all-time highs, not much data above you other than the DSD that we show you how to lay out. So this is the daily standard deviation on a daily time frame that lets us know that this is how high the market wants to at least pull up to before it pushes back down. So we have that one projection. But you want to proceed with caution. When you're at all-time highs. 20 minutes left in our stream. 13 seconds left. We'll most likely get this bullish confirmation. Then all three of the indices are aligned. We have a US 30, there you go. There's your NAS confirmation, your US 500 confirmation, and US 30 was the first one to confirm long. Still waiting for a retracement though. There's been a lot of back and forth, so if this market wants to just take off from here without really letting us in, not too much we can do about it. There's your manipulation range break for NAS. Pretty late in the game. At least it came. If this range isn't broken, if the manipulation range is not broken by 11:30, you pack up your bags and you're done. That means the day is going to either consolidate or there's going to be a lot of manipulation back and forth, which you don't want to be a part of. So remember, 80% chance that the market will retrace once we get a spotlight confirmation. We'll retrace back into our range. That was our spotlight confirmation. We have not retraced back into our range yet. 75% chance that once we get a double break, we're going to retrace back to one of our key zones, most likely the blue zone, unless there's another PD array in between. That's why I'd like to see it retrace at least down to here. And then if it crosses, if US 500, by the way, I'm not interested in NAS yet, if at all. But if US 500 crosses this line, which is all-time highs, I'm done. I'm done for the day. Because that's my low-hanging fruit right now. My low-hanging fruit target. Just patiently waiting. See if we get that retracement. Again, just patiently waiting for that retracement. If we get it, we get it. If not, then again, we'll call it once we cross that all-time highs there. So. Still pushing up. No real retracement yet. Apologies there. We had a glitch here. Screen's on us. Still no retracement. Market continuing to push. About 12 minutes left in our stream. So no real retracement yet. The other thing, when you see these kind of like small anemic candles, that's also a signal that it wants to drop. These are not big displacement candles. NAS, on the other hand, is actually giving us more bigger candles, leaving fair value gaps. US 500 could just drop right into one of these into this fair value gap and push up from there. But 8 minutes left. We haven't seen a retracement. I want to see a full retracement first. Let's see if we get that retracement here now. Not sure if it's going to come in time. Keep in mind a proper retracement has two elements. Well, three, I guess. First, you want to leave. Let's just take a retracement once we get a bullish confirmation. So you want to get a bearish fair value gap created, which we're going to use as an inverse, another foothold up. Two, you want it to hit a key point, either a blue zone, the NYC fair value gap, or a purple zone, something of importance, a higher time frame PD array. Thirdly, you want to create a bullish fair value gap. That's your first foothold. Then your second foothold is the inverse fair value gap as you climb back up. That's a proper retracement. Those three elements have to be there. Bearish fair value gap, bounce off of a key zone, and a bullish fair value gap. When we're going in the opposite direction, the opposite. Bullish fair value gap, hitting one of our key zones, and a bearish fair value gap. Setting up that intermediate lower and or intermediate high, that three candle pattern. That's necessary. That's what I consider a true retracement. Right now we have no retracement. We are getting these anemic candles from US 500. NAS has already taken its all-time high. Now, NAS was the weaker pair and it just took its all-time high. And if this is US 500's all-time high, this green line, this should fall in suit. But again, I want to see a proper retracement so I can actually get a foothold. We didn't get one here. There wasn't one from here to here. Wasn't a proper 1 to 3 risk to reward. But from here to here, I could get one if it gives us that. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not looking to take this just to take this. So this is our last candle, 2 minutes, 47 seconds left. I'm not sure if we're going to get that retracement. So here's your homework. Come back later. Check to see if you got that proper retracement, what time it happened, how far did it pull back, did you see that actual pattern before it finally did push? Or is this comparable to a runaway market where it just continued on to the liquidity zone without doing the retracement? So I'll leave you with that. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you know when we're live. Currently we're live Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So we'll be live again tomorrow, same time. Please check us out on social media, fractal.effects. We're always uploading new educational material, going over certain trades we took, why we took them, how the system works. And check us out on fractaleffects.com where we teach high probability trading. This is the best system out there. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're a pro. If you're a pro, this is only going to make you better because it's going to show you things you were already missing. This is stuff that does not show up on any other chart. There is no other indicator that will show you this information. This is not a time lagging indicator. This is a market translator. Looks like we're getting that retracement now. But again, come back and check it out. I doubt it'll happen in our window of opportunity. But that's our goal. Our goal is to create a community of traders that actually are trading with the markets because they're translating the markets and they're following in that direction. Everybody else is guessing. I'm telling you right now. Every other strategy, every other trader, they might be professional, they might refer to themselves with certain accolades or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Everybody else is guessing. And even a broken clock is right twice a day. That's why some of these strategies do pay out in the short term. I don't know if you know this, but the average hedge fund goes under within 8 years. That means they're great at raising money, not so much at trading. Anyways, that's our time. We'll see you again tomorrow.